We are live. This is the NBA Rundown. Nuke the House is the channel, and we are here to break down the NBA card. Dasha just jumped in the seat. She's ready to be my co-pilot, and away we go. Let's take a quick look at last night's results while I wait for Tyler to jump on. And, of course, you'll be joining us for the NFL too. Normally, it's NFL only for you today, but you're doing double duty. You decided to join us to talk about the National Basketball Association. Good morning, good afternoon. How are you today, JC Zargo?
Spread, I'm doing fantastic. So my in-laws got in town last night and they wanted to go to the Botanical Gardens today. And I was like, oh, shoot, I can't come. Like, I got to do a show. And so, like, they all left. So they're gone, wife gone, baby's gone, whole house to myself. Maybe the first time since I've had this child, and I've never known relaxation like this.
All right. And JC is enjoying the peace that is brought to the world this Christmas time. Before Tyler gets here, I want to dive in a little bit to last night, talk about what we saw. I thought the top story of the night was it was a great opportunity for the Pistons to end this historic losing streak. And
yeah,
I mean, it was almost too easy for them, right? It was almost set up too well. It was interesting. I was reading a conversation with some of the guys that I network with, right? And they were saying, a game like this might not be the one where they break it. The game that they break the streak might actually be a team that's completely overlooking them, right? Not a terrible team like Utah that also is fighting for their own respect. The other thing now is this streak grows. Are they going to get a better effort because, let's just say they were 1-20 or whatever, right? Just a normal bad team like the Washington Wizards, right? But now nobody wants to be the team that gets the streak ended against them. That might make it a little tougher for the Detroit Pistons as well. What did you think of this? I was high on the Pistons coming into the year, and I do not know how I got this so wrong. Now, when I say I was high on them, I meant that I thought that they would win above their 26-game win total. I thought Monty Williams would be a huge upgrade. Dwayne Casey's looking better and better here as this goes on. But what did you see last night is Kate Cunningham had 28, 10, and 7, yet it wasn't enough for the Detroit Pistons. How long is this streak going to last, JC?
Man, it's a great question, and I totally agree with you. I kind of thought Monty got an unfair shake there in Phoenix, but I understand something's got to give. So you figured, oh, this is a great move for Detroit, great young team, and just not. I saw a Pistons team with some determination last night, but more importantly, I saw a Jazz team that basically said, no, not us. We're not far off from being the joke of the league, so not today. As for how long, they are set up well. So they get back-to-back game with the Nets, and that's always kind of nice. Like we typically see a split and a back-to-back, so fair chance there. And then on both January 1st and 12th, they have the Rockets. So, the end should be near, but I've thought that several times before, and the Pistons have yet to prevail.
All right. The Pelicans and the Cavaliers. The Pelicans win by 19 points. The New Orleans Pelicans is the team that I can't get right. I didn't bet the game, but when I just look at this team, they're either awesome or absolutely terrible. And I don't know, what's predictive that's going to let us know which version of the team we get. Cleveland, I backed them a couple nights ago against Tyler. He didn't like it, and I got there. But I was doing that, and I was saying, okay, you're missing all these people. You can absorb this for a game or two. But as these injuries mount, I believe Cleveland's will become more and more of a fade. What do you make of these two teams, JC, specifically the Pelicans? Because for a talented team, they can have some terrible performances.
Yeah, I mean, there's always a handful of teams like that every year where it's you can't bet them because you don't know if you can get out of them. They have an incredibly high ceiling. Yeah, there's an incredibly high ceiling, but they just don't, they don't play consistently. I mean, injuries has been this team's storyline for years now, and it's just something. I mean, eventually you just gotta blow it up because it's not working. And
And they
especially
can void the contract supposedly. Did you see how that came out yesterday with Zion?
that's no longer guaranteed. I didn't see. I just saw that headline that the contract's not guaranteed. I didn't get a chance to read into it. What's kind of the details there?
Just the fact that they would release it shows the level of frustration to me with his conditioning. And I don't know if does that make him a more attractive trade option because you can get off him or what. I'm not sure
Yeah,
what to make
yeah,
of it, but
possibly.
I
But I
think
mean, does anyone
it's
think
just this
they're
has been multiple reports in the last week and a half about their frustration with his commitment to the sport of basketball, and I've said that as well. So we'll
But I
see
mean,
how
as a
that keeps
team,
going.
do you really think your trainers are going to have better luck?
It depends. It depends on who his veteran is,
Man, get him into Miami. They'll whoop his ass in Detroit.
right? Do you see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
they wouldn't. They'll just you can't even play. He wouldn't be able to fight the fitness test, right? He'd do
My
great in
God.
Miami. He'd be terrible at Atlanta, right? Where there'd be no
Oh,
one to lead the way. Um, a place like Philadelphia, it's a good coach like Nick Nurse, where he's not the number one option. Maybe he does a little better there. Probably does a little better in New York
get him
with the
get him somewhere
Knicks.
like Utah, where the local cuisine isn't so delectable.
Yeah, I mean that, but I think a lot of that is just soda and junk food, which is available everywhere.
It's
John
crazy.
Morant now is 2-0 in his return. How are you guys feeling out there in Tennessee about these Memphis Grizzlies?
It's funny how people turn into goldfish when you start winning. Winning forgives all sins. A week ago, John Morant was a bum who can't keep his head on straight, you know, um, blowing this golden opportunity. But now that he's back, he's winning. And especially how down bad this team was, right? That definitely kind of helped his
Right?
return in that it's not like
Yeah,
previous years when he was out because he was injured, like they
they were
did
still
fine,
winning.
man. Down bad. And also too, I kind of it really gives him a chance to show just how talented he is. He's had the perfect supporting cast for him, right? Like it's not like, oh, it's an incredible team. For his skill set, the supporting cast was great. And now that he doesn't have that, he's basically going to turn into Trae Young. And it will be really interesting to see as the season progresses if they get players back that can actually make them a viable contender, or if they are just going to be like the Hawks and get in first round exit because one player can only carry you so far.
One interesting thing about this NBA in-season tournament, as exciting as it was, the teams in the finals have not necessarily fared that well since the tournament. What day was the final?
Isn't that was it last Friday? Was it longer than that?
Anyways, in the last 6, Pacers have won one game last 5. The only team they beat was Charlotte. They lost in Memphis. They lost to the Clippers. They lost to the Timberwolves. They lost to the Wizards, which is a bad one, and they lost to the Bucks. So you know what? Let me amend that statement a little bit because they're playing some of the best teams in the league here.
Yeah.
But the Lakers are doing bad as well, which is why I brought that up. I wonder Vegas, the celebration. Both teams that did well in the tournament are struggling coming out of it. Something to make a note of, moving forward, is that signal, is that noise. So something we'll need to learn is because this in-season tournament isn't going away. People like it. The fans like it.
It's just a competition. I mean, it's not different than the playoffs. I mean, it's a little bit just in that it's who's hot right now. We see teams. There's the reason we play 82 games, right? There are teams who have hot streaks, they have losing streaks, and the in-season tournament is just going to be who's hot when it rolls around. So, no reason for too much concern for either team. However, I don't think either team is too highly touted.
I'm just saying if you took out those in-season tournament performances, right, the Lakers are in what, 7th?
10th.
Probably getting a lot more criticism. It feels like that shielded a lot for him. And we were really high on the Pacers, but since that success, they've been doing terrible, both straight up and against the number. Our game of the day yesterday was the Thunder. They defeated the Clippers, and that was a tough spot for Los Angeles coming off the big win over the Mavericks. That ends the Clippers' win streak. Kawhi Leonard sat out last night. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was excellent, but I'm still high on both these teams. Good win for the Thunder, but they were definitely gifted an advantageous situation.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of, yep, spot on. Definitely. What was the spread on that one?
We bet it at -4.5. They won by 19.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's man, good for you guys. I wouldn't have known how to handicap that game just because I'm so skeptical with the Clippers that I don't really.
Why?
I'm just scared. I'm just kind of.
Tyler and I put future on him to win the title, right?
Did you? I didn't know. I didn't know that.
Yeah, on one of the shows earlier this week, I bet Los Angeles and Philadelphia at 12 and 13 to 1 respectively, and he bet Los Angeles at Minnesota at 12 to 1 and 16 to 1 respectively.
I did not know they were the 5th favorite to win the title right now.
They've won 7 of their last 8 games.
Yeah, no, they're playing tremendous basketball, but I'm just waiting for it all to
talent-wise, they most talented team in the NBA. Who's more talented?
No, for sure. But how many times have they been the most or like a top talented team? And
that's why it's 12 to 1.
Yeah.
Because if this team wasn't brittle, they'd be 4 to 1 the way they look.
If this team wasn't brittle, we'd have like 3 championships by now.
Yeah. So, Tyler, how are we doing today? We were just kind of going over last night's card before we dive into today's action. Any overall thoughts? We've pretty much gone through the whole thing. My main takeaways were the Pistons. It's going to be tough for them because now as the streak continues to grow, I think teams don't want to be the one to lose. So instead of overlooking them, you're actually getting a good effort. And both the teams that did really well in the in-season tournament, the Pacers and the Lakers, have struggled since their foray to Las Vegas. How you doing today, Tyler?
I'm good. I don't have many takes for yesterday. I think we just get into today.
All right. Let's dive right in and let's knock this out. I'm pulling these numbers up on Bookmaker. I do have projections set up, and Bookmaker is freezing on me. Wonderful. Let me go to the NBA model. These numbers might be a little old, but when I did this a little while ago, the Philadelphia 76ers were -8. They're hosting the Toronto Raptors on a total of 230. I have this projected as an 11-point 76ers win. Tyler, your thoughts on when the 76ers, who have the best net rating in the NBA, host the Toronto Raptors?
Yeah, I'd lean 76ers. I mean, playing Nick Nurse's former team. Injury report doesn't look that bad for Philly. They're at home. I think they should win this game by double digits, but I probably don't lay it.
Yeah, to me, it's 76ers are past. Of course, this is the NBA rundown, so the injury report is key here. Toronto's pretty healthy. The only guy out is Koloko, which sounds like something you would get in Zelda. On the other side, DeAnthony Melton's game time decision. Robert Covington is most likely going to play. Oh my gosh, can I get this pop-up out of here? I thought I installed an AM blocker too. Robert Covington most likely play. Purely questionable or Mo Bamba, DeAnthony Melton, and your favorite, Patrick Beverley. JC, your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, you guys are right. I mean, no reason to bet Toronto. Injuries, of course, always the hang up when betting Philly. They've been great at home, but I agree. I mean, I think this perfectly embodies the 76ers. I was just looking at player points props. There are only 3 76ers players that FanDuel is offering points props on. Like, you just don't know what you're getting with this team. So, yeah, not one you're going to bet very often.
The total has gone under for the last 5 times that Toronto traveled to Philadelphia, but it's gone over in Toronto's 4 of their last 6 road games. Philadelphia has won their last 5 meetings, and Philadelphia also 7-1 over their last 8 games. to me, it's Sixers or pass. If you guys loved it, I'll lay it with you. This team is just an absolute juggernaut right now. I've never seen Embiid play so well. To me, this is statistics probably show that too, but this is the best that we've seen him. And now that they have proper coaching, this team is really taking advantage, because before I felt like, he would carry the team, then he'd go to the bench and they'd have problems. This bench unit is playing much better, and I attribute that to coaching. 76ers are tough to beat, which is why I placed that future on them. I think they're getting pretty close to equal with Boston as far as title odds, but I got, Boston's 4-1 and I got 13-1. So that's why I like the 76ers as a whole. Just like the Clippers, JC, this team's going to have to stay healthy. But if they do, legitimate contender. The Denver Nuggets are -4.5.
Oh, quick, I was going to make a real comment on that total.
I'll go right in.
I was going to say, definitely it's a well-placed number, but I definitely think the over is a decent play, because Toronto's put up, 103, 104 or more, every game in their last 10, and the 76ers are averaging 124 points a game at home. So, you don't need too much from Toronto to carry that game total over.
Great. JC likes the over. We all think it's lay it or don't play it. And right now, we'll probably be off that game. But we can circle back here, because I do have a slight edge to the 76ers. And the way they've been playing, I don't mind backing them at all. The Denver Nuggets are -4.5. They're in Brooklyn. They're taking on the Nets. Once again, the total is 230. When I'm looking at my projections here, I have this projected as essentially a 3-point Nuggets win. So it's liking the Nets plus the points. However, we talk about running these numbers, but then being aware of the model and its flaws. I think that Brooklyn's really my projection is being pushed up to how well they played early in the year. Recently, this team hasn't been doing that well. Let me pull up some numbers to support that. Brooklyn over the last 5. So they've lost 4 games in a row. They lost by 23 in Denver. They lost by 4 in Golden State. We covered that one. They had a +4.5. Closed at 3.5 though, so depending on when you got it. Then they lost by 17 in Utah. That's fine. I'll chalk that up as a travel spot. But then on the dreaded first game back from a home trip, they lose by 19 to the Knicks, a team that they had actually done pretty well against as of late. Now you look at Denver; they've won 2 in a row. They were in Toronto 2 nights ago. They got a 9-point win to cover. And, of course, they beat Dallas the other night, but that was a weakened Dallas team. Tyler, my projections say to take the points, but I don't want to. I don't trust this Brooklyn team right now. Although Brooklyn is 9-3 against the spread in their last 12 at home, Denver is 5-1 against the spread in their last 6. Which way are you looking in this one, Tyler?
I'd lean Denver. They're fully healthy. There's no reason to fade Denver here. We didn't pull the trigger on them a couple nights ago when we should have. I don't think we should be scared of this team on the road. They won the championship last year. The only piece missing right now is Bruce Brown, and he signed somewhere else. Everything else is back and healthy for this team. It's Denver or pass.
All right. When we look at the Nuggets, though, one of our concerns is against the spread this season. They're 7-5 at home and only 6-10 on the road. JC, what do you think?
Yeah, definitely Denver or pass. Because the thing to note about that losing streak with the Nets is, 5 of those 6 games were on the road, so you kind of chalk that up. But like you said, when they come home, play the Knicks, and lose by 19, you're no longer going, it's just a road trip. You just need to get home and get right. So
the first game home's usually tough. That's a normal fade spot that we
no, like for sure. But to lose that bad, and like you said, maybe it is and especially they only had 1 day off between the Utah and the New York game at home. So maybe now they're a little more rested. It looks better. So that's kind of why maybe you stay away. But I'm certainly not going to place a bet on Brooklyn given the recent play.
All right. Let's move on. I actually don't want to lay 4.5, though, with the Nuggets on the road. Of our 2 favorites that we've talked about so far, I think I'd prefer that 76ers.
Yeah, they're 6-10. I didn't realize they were 6-10 at the spread on the road.
I think that number is something you just throw out the window with the fact that they dealt with injuries for the first 2.5 months of the year.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Bro, your lighting's way better today, Tyler.
I don't know why. Nothing's changed.
Normally, like, you kind of pixelate and stuff around the edges.
He's glowing.
Cool. Yeah, I know. It's like he's got the light right on him. The Dallas Mavericks are plus 8.5. They're in Houston taking on the Rockets. This seems like a big number. Let's head to the injury report to find out why. Seth Curry, game time decision. Luka out. Dante Exum out. Josh Green out. Kyrie Irving out. Maxi Kleber out. Derek Lively out. Who does this leave? We have Jaden Hardy starting at point guard. Tim Hardaway. Derek Jones. Grant Williams. Dwight Powell. I don't mind that as the starting lineup, actually. My concern here is let's look at this bench now. That means I'm going to have A.J. Lawson, Markieff Morris, and Rashawn Holmes, and a guy that I really like that we drafted and traded him, Prosper, coming off the bench, but I don't think he's ready to contribute yet. I know he did spend some time in the G League. So while I think that this starting lineup can hang, I'm really worried about the bench minutes here. At the same time, I don't know if I want to lay 8.5 with the Rockets in the superstar subtraction situation. Tari Eason, game time decision. Reggie Bullock most likely will sit. Tyler, what do you think?
I think it's Houston or pass. Though I think the whole superstar subtraction thing's out the window with the fact that half their team was already out before Luka went out. And now you think the only thing left that was on the floor out. I don't see how they do anything outside of Jaden Hardy maybe exploding in this game, but I trust Houston's defense to slow them down. So I think Houston wins this game rather easily. They're coming off the loss at home. I think this is where they bounce back big.
Tyler likes the Rockets. What do you think, JC?
I mean, I hate it. I mean, if I was going to make a pick, I'd probably lean Dallas simply because when you have that many injuries to a team, I mean, a different style of play kind of develops, and you never know. It could be horrible, but it could be better team basketball. And while Dallas should still win, 8.5 is just too many points. They may come out, keep the game close. Houston is phenomenal at home, but unfortunately, it's just a game I have no interest in being part of.
Dallas is 8-1 in their last 9 against Houston. They're 5-1 straight up in their last trips, 6 trips to Houston. But Houston is 11-1 in their last 12 games at home. Houston also 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 at home. I think that's a tough one. I lean Dallas, but I'm not going to get there with it. I also don't trust trying to play this total because my projections are no good for this team with all the things. And if you do decide to get involved, you're going to know like so early because you're either going to look like a genius because it's going to be even, or Dallas might even have the lead, or they're going to be down by like 18 in the second quarter, right? And you're going to realize you're on the wrong side. So JC and I lean Dallas, but
you also got to worry. You also got to worry about, maybe Dallas keeps it close in the first half and then Houston just turns it on in the second, and then you end up getting blown out.
I mean, those bench minutes are going to be rough.
That's true.
Rashawn Holmes. I mean, okay. I think this game's interesting. The Atlanta Hawks, who we've been trying to fade, and it blew up in our face against the aforementioned Houston Rockets. So they're coming off that win in Houston. Now they travel to Miami. Boy, that's a fun place to be this time of year. The Heat are -1 here. The total 238.5, and obviously that's really high for a Heat game, and that's off the pace that the Atlanta Hawks like to play. The total's gone over in 6 of Atlanta's 7 games, but it's gone under in 6 of their last 7 trips to Miami. Miami's also 7-1 straight up in their last 8 games at home against Atlanta. The total's gone under. Oh, I already said that. I like the Heat here, Tyler. My projections have this as a 1-point game. Is this a big enough edge to bet? Can we continue to fade these Hawks? Was that an aberration? Or did they find something in Houston? Or are they going to turn things around?
I don't want anything to do with this game.
Really? You don't like Miami here?
Atlanta's been a thorn in my side, and so is Miami. Miami's still missing Jimmy Butler. I'm going to run and bet them right here. They're going to lose this game outright to Atlanta. If I bet Atlanta, Miami's going to stomp them. I'm not betting this game.
Well, just bet it, then tell me what you bet, and I'll bet the opposite.
Nope.
JC, your thoughts?
Definitely a tough one, but I too would lean Miami because especially looking at Atlanta's recent play, they're just beating up on on bad teams, and not that Miami's an incredible team. They're still a tougher opponent than the ones they faced recently. So especially being at home, not a great play, but definitely would go Miami over Atlanta.
Yeah, I like Miami here. I'm disappointed. I thought Tyler was going to join me on this one. Let's talk about those recent wins. So, of course, they defeated Detroit at home, and then they went on the road and they beat Houston. Before that, they lost in Cleveland. They defeated the Raptors on the road. So, okay, I guess they're a little better on the road than I give them credit for. Oh, that was one of those home and homes.
They were both in Toronto. Yeah. It was a weird back-to-back.
I'm saying that wrong. Home and home means that you guys travel to both, right?
Yeah.
So I'll say 2-game series for when they play and stay in the same spot. Okay. Miami recently defeated Orlando. We were on the wrong side of that game. They lost to the Timberwolves, arguably one of the best teams in the league. They got a win over the Bulls, who are playing well right now. But they lost to the Bulls in a 2-game series right before that.
In Miami.
Win over Charlotte wins absolutely nothing. Okay. I like Miami, but Tyler doesn't want to go there. Anything else for this one, JC?
I was kind of curious what you think about the total. Just will Miami have to keep pace with Atlanta to beat them and we have an over, or will Miami bring the pace down and make this a more low scoring game?
Yeah, I think they play a little faster with Jimmy out, right? So I think that's another reason that this team's out there. I still don't mind this lineup at all. I'm looking at Tyler Hero, Kyle Lowry, Jaime Jaquez, who's probably the third best rookie this season. Is that fair? I think it is. Caleb Martin and Bam Adebayo here. On the other side, there's not a lot that's really bothering me. AJ Griffin, that's the player that you like, and Jalen Johnson, who we've talked about. But it feels like they've learned how to absorb that loss. Sadiq Bey, DeAndre Hunter playing a little better out there on the wings. I like Miami, but I guess we're not going to get there. Any other thoughts on this game, Tyler?
No, I mean, that's pretty much it for me.
The Phoenix Suns are plus 3.5 in Sacramento, taking on the Kings with a total of 244. The Kings disappointed us the other night when we thought they had an excellent fatigue spot playing the Celtics after an overtime loss. But that's just a terrible matchup for the Sacramento Kings, and I probably overplayed the potential fatigue a little bit too much. Phoenix 4-1 in their last 5 visits to Sacramento. Total's gone under in 4 of Phoenix's last 5 games on the road. But the total's gone over in 9 of Sacramento's last 10 games at home. And Sacramento's 4-1 straight up. That one loss being the one that we could not get at home against the Boston Celtics the other night. Now they play a Suns team, Tyler, that I enjoyed slandering. But we kind of just do that as a vent session to get it all out. It doesn't mean that we're not against the team for the rest of the year. But we did talk about their lack of depth here. Bradley Beal will be out, Damian Lee will be out, and Yusuf Nurkic will be out, which means former King Chimezie Metu will be playing center. And with the way that team plays, I don't mind Metu at center. They don't really need a lot from the center position. And the fact that he's more athletic and he can switch, unlike Nurkic, where they have to play a drop with him, I think helps the team overall because I think that's an easier defense for them to run. Looking at their bench tonight, it will be Eric Gordon, Drew Eubanks, Jordan Goodwin. If Okogie plays, he should get some run. Otherwise, a little bit of Diop and Watanabe. I mean, obviously, I want the Kings to win here, Tyler. You think we can bounce back from that horrible showing against Boston?
I think they can. This should be the spot they do it. I don't want to go against the Suns, though. Just because they have the firepower to just if those two guys get going, they're going to torch this team.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, if they get going, they're going to torch this team. I wouldn't touch the total. Probably just leave that alone. That's pretty much it for me on this game.
Talk to me, JC. What do you think?
Yeah, I got to lean Sacramento. I mean, just such poor play out of Phoenix of late. I got no interest in betting on them. This is another, I mean, the over is enticing. That is a massive number. But, I mean, the way Sacramento plays pretty fast, and they've been involved in some extremely high-scoring games. So maybe like the over a little bit more than laying the 3.5.
If the game goes over, if you told me right now, like the game's going over, I would take the Kings. And my reasoning here is I've talked about this before, that while Durant's great in fantasy basketball and our best ball shares, he's been carrying the team so much for the first 42, 43 minutes. He's not that same sniper at the end of the game. He hasn't just been killing people, and I attribute that to a lot of fatigue. So if I'm the Kings, I want to get up and down the court tonight and really try to take advantage of the fact that my benches should have way more firepower than theirs. Let's use that to our advantage. We have more bodies. Let's tire these guys out, and that way we can still win at the end. I feel like they did put up a pretty good line at 244. Any other thoughts on this one, Tyler?
Nope. That's it for me.
3.5. Oh, yeah.
For actually a pretty good card as far as the actual games, Tyler, I'm not finding a lot that I like. But I think there's a lot of games I'd enjoy watching, right? I think Hawks Heat's a good game. I'm actually curious about Mavericks Rockets. I want to see how Houston does in a spot where, they should win. How is Jaden Hardy going to look? He's a player I'm high on. How is this team going to play without their two stars in there? Can they put things together? The Nuggets and Nets, will the Nets bounce back? Sixers, I don't really feel like watching. For as good as Embiid is he the most unwatchable player now? That grifting is disgusting. All right,
it kind of reminds me of of Houston when they had Harden and they were like winning all those games.
Yeah,
like,
putting them together. That was like having him teach Embiid. That was like the worst thing that could have happened to the NBA.
No, in Houston.
Pardon?
When Harden was in Houston, like they were so good.
Yeah, but then he went and he taught Embiid all his tricks.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was just saying, not fun to watch.
We learned from the best.
Yeah.
The Washington Wizards are plus 11.5 in Golden State taking on the Warriors. Total 247. Jordan Poole returns to the scene of the crime, the team in which he won a championship for and then subsequently got knocked out. The video got leaked. It ruined the Warriors' chemistry, and Draymond Green still hasn't figured out how to comport himself like an adult. Draymond Green, of course, will not be there tonight to potentially punch Jordan Poole as he's suffering from a suspension. But this Washington Wizards team has been an absolute joke, Tyler. They have the two stars that care about basketball the least. These guys just want to score, put up points, and go party and look fashionable while doing it. The total is 247 here. I don't know what to do with this one, Tyler. What do you think?
Stay away from it. The Warriors shouldn't be laying 12 to anyone, and the Wizards stink.
Are we taking the Wizards?
No.
Yeah.
You just stay away from this game. You be very selective in this today, in the upcoming week in the NBA spread. We talked about it yesterday, right?
I think next week's the happiest week of the year.
Let's not push today too far away from next week because a lot of these teams that play tonight don't play again until Tuesday. So they're done for the weekend after tonight. I don't want much money involved on these guys tonight because I don't know what the hell they're going out there with effort-wise tonight.
Yeah. JC, what do you think of this one? Are we missing some money?
The only thing I got is I would definitely take Jordan Poole under 21.5 points. He's done that just 3 times in like his last 11 games. And that's going to be like, that's all Golden State has to do to win this game. They will make sure that man is locked down and will not see.
I was seeing another way. I think his teammates are going to feed him.
Right, but you don't think the Warriors defense can shut him down?
Not really. Who do they have that's going to shut him down? Steph? Gary Payton's still out, isn't he?
I'm just saying that's kind of their path to victory. He's so hot and cold anyways, but I don't know. I just feel like if they take care of him, then they're going to let Kyle Kuzma beat him? I just don't see it.
I just think the Wizards are going to feed him. I don't think they care about winning. So they're just like, let's just let our guy get his.
But that's the thing is he can't even always get his. Like, it's a decent play, period. But I think adding in the fact it's against the Warriors, they're not going to want to be embarrassed by Jordan Poole.
Yeah, one of them they're going to be really right or really wrong here because that's
we're
on the
he's either
opposite
going to
side
get
of the
10
street here.
or he's going to have like 40.
Also, the total's 247. I don't want to bet an under in a 247 game.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Tyler, anything more from this one before we scrounge together some best bets?
Nope. I don't think there's anything left to talk about Golden State and Washington.
All right. What's your best bet for the tail? I can't even talk. Let's try this again. Tyler, what is your best bet for the day?
If I had to bet an NBA game today, it'd probably be Denver.
Oh, wow. All right, JC, what's your best bet of the day?
I'm liking Tim Hardaway Jr. over 22.5. Kind of looking at that Dallas game. Those points got to come from somewhere. He's been playing pretty well of late, putting up 21 plus in 3 of his last 5, and his usage is obviously going to be way up. So I don't think 23 is too much to ask of from him.
I like the Miami Heat -1. They beat Atlanta 7 of the last 8 times they play. I think they match up really well against them. And I like Atlanta coming off a win, maybe being a little overconfident here. So my favorite play is the Miami Heat -1. Tyler, any more thoughts on the card before? JC, are you up for 2 words of wisdom today? Can I go to you twice?
I can muster it up.
Okay, muster something up. Tyler, final thoughts on this NBA card here. And actually, since we're not doing a show, did you have any Christmas Day bets that you liked?
I haven't even looked at the Christmas Day games yet.
Okay,
So,
I have. I'll go over them with you.
Take a peek. Take a peek. While I must.
Yeah, now we'll give JC some time here. So Christmas, we have our first game's Milwaukee versus New York. Bucks are laying 3 on the road. What do you think?
give me the Bucks.
Yeah,
No
that's what I was
Mitchell.
thinking too.
Yeah, no Mitchell Robinson. Give me the Bucks.
Yeah, I like that one too. Denver's -5.5 against the Warriors. It's another one I like the favorite. I think it's gonna be a square holiday.
Yeah, give me Denver.
Yeah, -5.5. I'm down to fade this Warriors team, especially against the best teams in the league. And I know on Chris, well, I don't know, but I think we can fairly bet that goes that way. Boston's -2 in LA taking on the Lakers. I didn't want to get involved in this one.
I'll probably take the dog if I bet that one.
Take the Lakers, huh?
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking too. Haven't they showed that they're this team that like is only going to play in the
games
right,
that they think matter. Yeah,
My favorite one though out of all these, how is Philadelphia catching a point against the Heat?
Wow.
because they always play them well.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I still think that's my favorite bet of the whole day. I would think that
Yeah, I'd
Philadelphia
lean
would be
Philly
minus
there.
one, minus 2 there. What's up?
I'd lean Philly there.
I mean, yeah, Miami has won 4 of their last 5 against Philly.
Yeah, Tyler's right. They do play him well. Finally, this one's tough to handicap because we don't know who's playing, but Dallas will be in Phoenix.
I got
Man,
nothing on that one.
Just lay the 5. I don't know. Maybe lay the 5 now and hope Dallas stays down.
That's so
But even
funny.
still,
if they're both healthy, I want Dallas +5.
Absolutely. But I was going to say, even if you knew for a fact the Dallas roster today is what's going against Phoenix, I'm not sure I would necessarily love Phoenix -5 even still. That's how they've been playing.
Yeah, I think this Phoenix team, man, they just got no depth. I mean, they're going to look great here and there when the stars go off. They're going to consistently struggle to stay in games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like Dallas plus the points there, but that, of course, is contingent on Luka Doncic playing. You know who I want the most? You know who I think matters to me more than Kyrie Irving right now is Derek Lively.
Oh,
I want Luka and Lively in there, and then that +5 is a hammer spot. So, okay, a little bit of Christmas talk for you there. You guys kind of got an idea of where we're going to land. Tyler, we got a huge slate tomorrow. Are you going to be ready for that? Did you see it?
I don't see how much action I'll have on it, but I'll be ready for it.
Yeah, we said this is a tough time.
Again, just like I just said about today. Half these teams aren't playing tomorrow, and the guys that aren't playing today are playing tomorrow, and then they're off Sunday.
Yeah.
I don't want any money involved on these guys right now.
Yeah, and that's fair. And we're trying to be transparent here. JC, did you find some excellent
Yeah, I
words
got
of
you.
wisdom to get us
I came
out
up
of
with
here?
something.
All right.
There is no sunrise so beautiful that it's worth waking up to see.
Wait, what?